Okay, so what if finding the right fit wasn't about a number or a letter? What if instead it was treated like, well, like architecture? Today we're going to dive into the really radical system of Arreqqana, which completely flips the script on sizing. It's not a measurement, it's a language for the body. I mean, just listen to that. This quote gets right to the heart of the whole thing. This is not your usual retail jargon, right? It's poetic, it's structural, it immediately pulls you out of that whole mindset of bigger or smaller and into a world of shape, presence, and pure form. So let's really get into what this means. The Arreqqana system isn't just about slapping new labels on old sizes. No, this is a ground-up rethinking. It's a fundamental effort to replace a system of just comparing numbers with a totally new language based on architectural presence. Okay, this slide right here gets to the absolute core of it. On the left, you've got standard sizing. It's all about comparison, right? An A, B, C, D, a linear scale that you're supposed to fit into. But then you look to the right at the Arreqqana system. It talks about presence, tiers of curve. It's not a box you have to squeeze into. It's an architecture you get to inhabit. Big difference. So this all sounds incredibly poetic, right? But how does this beautiful language actually work? Let's get into the mechanics of it. Let's decode the blueprint and see how this philosophy turns into a system you can actually use. All right, here we go. This is the heart of the system. Instead of a cup letter, you have Mirella tiers, and each one has its own evocative name. You go from the subtle rise of Mirella Senna all the way to the sovereign curve of Mirella Kasorr. The band size? That's way simpler. It's called the Luun Measure. And yeah, that lines up pretty directly with the numbers you're already used to, like 34, 36, and 38. So let's put it all together. Here's what it looks like in the real world. A standard 34C becomes Luun 34 Mirella Vea. A 40D translates to Luun 40 Mirella Nedor. You can already hear how it reads less like a technical spec and, I don't know, more like an identity or a title. And this is where it gets really cool. You know how sister sizing can sometimes be a little confusing? Well, they have this beautiful concept called the Kasorr Shift. The idea is breeded size equivalence. And the rule itself is so elegant, it's almost poetic. When Luun descends, Mirella ascends. When Luun ascends, Mirella descends. It just creates this much more fluid, interconnected way of finding a perfect fit. But, this isn't just about a clever sizing chart. This is where you really start to see the deep philosophy that's woven into the very language itself. This is way more than just new labels. Each and every tier is given its own ethos, its own personality. So, for example, take Mirella Senna, the most subtle tier. Its whole vibe is about this gentle, quiet strength, quiet curve, silent power. Then, as you move up the scale, you get to Mirella Vea, and the energy shifts. The feeling here is all about potential, this poised energy. Balanced like breath before flame. I just love that. And then there's Mirella Nedor, which embodies this powerful, assertive presence. The language is all about confidence, right? Lifted, centered, unapologetic. It's not just about how it fits, it's about how it makes you feel. And finally, you get to the highest tier, Mirella Kasorr, which brings everything full circle. It explicitly links the form of the body right back to those grand themes of architecture and, this kind of sovereign self-ownership. And this right here, this is the mantra. It's the one line that underpins the entire philosophy. You see it repeated everywhere, summarizing everything in one powerful statement. Fit is architecture, not comparison. So we've talked philosophy, we've talked language, but how does all of this translate into an actual real-world experience? Let's step inside their flagship boutique, Qhivarra House, and see how this all really comes to life. And let me tell you, this is not your average retail space. The entire environment is meticulously curated to feel more like a temple or a modern art gallery. Every single sense is engaged, from the feel of velvet and cool marble to the specific scent of sandalwood and rose, and even this low, minimalistic pulsing sound. It's a total sensory immersion. And get this, their launch event wasn't even called a fashion show. They called it a ritual. It was actually structured like a play in 4 acts, telling the story of the curve as it ascends from these quiet beginnings all the way to sovereign authority. It's incredibly theatrical.
This line, which was a voiceover from the show's second act, is such a powerful reframing. The purpose of structure isn't to appeal to somebody else's gaze, but to create an internal sense of posture and power for yourself. It's not asking for permission.
All right, let's bring it all home. Let's see how all of this, the language, the philosophy, the atmosphere, comes together for the individual in the most personal part of the entire brand experience. So, in the private fitting rooms, the philosophy becomes totally interactive. You can literally change the lighting to match the mood of the architectural tier you're trying on. You can shift the space from a soft glow to a dramatic sculptural light. The goal isn't just finding a size anymore. It's about discovering an energy.
And this ethos is just captured so perfectly here. This mantra is actually etched into the fitting room mirror. It's this final, gentle instruction: don't try to force yourself to fit the garment. Instead, allow the architecture to support you.
And really, when you boil it all down, the entire Arreqqana system is built around this one provocative question. It suggests that by shifting our vocabulary from one of measurement and comparison to one of architecture and presence, we can fundamentally change how we feel and move in our own skin. It's a pretty powerful idea to think about.